This issue of Filler is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com.
Welcome to Filler. I'm your zealous documentarian Nick, till all are one, Bach. Today's installment will shift along the DC universe with the notorious Cassandra Cain. Born to the League of Assassins, Cassandra was trained only in martial arts. Her father, David Cain, used the speech recognition aspects of her brain to teach her fighting as a primary language. She could strike as quickly as anyone else could speak. By age 8, her father felt she was ready for her first assassination. She read her target's body language and, treating it like a game, she delivered the final blow. As she watched the victim expire, however, she found the gravity of her actions as the lines of communications that everyone else is constantly expressing through breathing intervals and eye gestures began to fade, and the man was then understood to be dead. In horror, she fled from her father, living as a mute drifter for the next 9 years. Now in Gotham, she was met by Oracle, the handicapped Barbara Gordon, and was treated to Bab's form of speech therapy, finally giving the 17-year-old assassin a voice. She still struggles with a form of dyslexia, however. As events unfold, Cassie saves Oracle's father from her own and is honored with the Batgirl suit with the approval of Batman, effectively making her the third Batgirl. Honors aside, Cassie still struggled with the dark torment of taking a life, and the Dark Knight gave her the ultimate ultimatum: suicide or self-preservation. The question is truly answered later as she tracks down her mother, the Lady Shiva, successor to Ra's al Ghul. Her mother agrees to train her daughter only under the agreement that, after 1 year time, the two must fight in mortal combat. Death wish in hand, Cassandra Cain dies by her mother. Her mother, however, realized the death wish and brought her back to life by restarting her heart. Knowing that her death will be denied, she ultimately defeats her mother but fails to kill her. Following her mother's trail, she finds the new home of the League of Assassins, which are being led by Raz's daughter, Nisa. Cassandra soon finds her mother training the newest assassins. Before she could attack, however, she is met with acclaim, as they refer to her as the One Who Is All. Once again, Shiva and Cassie fight, but is interrupted by the abominable Mr. Freeze. Frozen, Cassie convinces her captor to let her go in exchange for his wife's revival. With her freedom, she lowers Nora into the Lazarus pit, and the woman awakens both insane and possessing the abilities to reanimate the dead and manifest fire. Nora became the villainous Lazara. Mr. Freeze is forced to use his ice-themed weaponry to capture her in ice once more, destroying the assassin's base in turn. With the base destroyed, the League flees and are forced to decide who to follow, Cassie or Shiva. The group is divided in half, and a fight breaks, pitting Cassie against her brother, Mad Dog. Her brother defeats Cassandra and she suffers her second death. Shiva takes her daughter's body and walks away. At the banks of a Lazarus pit, Lady Shiva throws the body in. Reborn and enraged, Shiva finally gets the full-force fight she wanted all along. Mid-battle, Shiva spills the history of how Cassandra's father killed her sister to force her to be a greater fighter. She continues to explain David Cain's motives to finding the warrior to spawn the ultimate fighter. The battle ends with a blade in Shiva's body that lies next to the Lazarus pit. Finding the truth of what she was meant to be, she retires the cape and cowl of Batgirl and disappears from the Bat family. Robin tracks her down to the League of Assassins and assumes she was captured. He, in turn, captures David Cain to use as collateral, but finds that she was drugged by Cain and Deathstroke, forcing her to do their bidding. After a reluctant fight against her, Robin is left alone and is revealed that Cain and Deathstroke's plan was to use Cassie to create a new breed of assassin using a drug to turn captured girls into metahumans. Later, Cassie turns up in the Titans East. While still under the influence of the serum, she works with Deathstroke to tear down the Titans. Amidst a fight with Deathstroke's daughter, Ravager, the battle is interrupted by Robin and his newly created anti-serum that returns Cassie to normal. Her mind, now clear, is left with a vengeance for the girls tortured by her father and Deathstroke. She began hunting down her father and teamed up with a former test subject, Marquis, and Deathstroke's daughter, Rose Wilson, the Ravager. They tracked down Cain and began an epic battle with his newly created female army. Deathstroke, however, interrupted the battle with an explosion that kept the trio safe, mostly for the sake of his daughter. Soon after, the group disbanded. On her own again, Cassandra follows her father and discovers a plot to kill her surrogate sister and friend, Barbara Gordon. She rushes to Gotham to stop her father and, atop a building, fight with every ounce of vengeance she has to offer. With her father dangling from the side of the building, she fights her own demons and, with the help of the training she received as Batgirl, decides to save her father just as Batman and Robin arrive on scene. Finally strong enough to move away from her past, Batman takes her in as his adoptive daughter, and she gains the fatherly love she always wanted. Finally part of a family, she led the Outsiders until the death of Batman, where she handed over the Bat Mantle to Stephanie Brown, making her the 4th Batgirl. In Hong Kong, she dealt with the loss of another father until Batman's return. She then joined Batman Incorporated under the alias Black Bat. In epic yarn told, Cassandra continues to operate as Black Bat in Hong Kong, returning to Gotham to aid her new family when needed. So that's the rundown on one of the more elaborate stories in the already rich Batman universe. I look forward to seeing more from this character and her story. For example, did Lady Shiva die, or did she manage to roll into the Lazarus Pit? Her father was hospitalized but is still alive. With her blood ties severed, how will she handle herself? Will we see a resurgence of her deep depression? So many great questions for a great character. And that's the fill on Cassandra Cain, Batman's adoptive daughter and former leader of the League of Assassins. I'm Nick saying support your local comic shop, and thanks for listening.